What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Movies That Make You podcast. Season 2 is in full gear, and so we are super excited for what we've got going on this season. Just to let you know what that means, we still have our weekly Prepisodes where we discuss movies to watch in preparation for a new release hitting theaters. I got my buddy PoppaGoss on those each and every week. Those drop on Mondays at 6 a.m. Also, we have our Creators Conversations. This is where we're interviewing people from the business and beyond to discuss what they do to create and how they create their art. We will be releasing one of those interviews a month, so be on the lookout for that on YouTube. We're also doing our monthly watch-alongs where we pick a movie to watch. We live stream our conversation while we're watching the film on YouTube. There's tons more going on, and in order to not miss a single beat, you want to make sure that you're following us on Instagram. This week, we've got the Silent Hill movies we're going to be talking about in preparation for Return to Silent Hill dropping in theaters that Friday. PoppaGoss and I have a special guest, first timer on the show, Matt from Spookie, Okie. So we're excited to have him on the show to talk about these crazy films. We hope you also check out our website at moviesthatmakeyoupodcast.com. There you can see all of our social links. You can listen to the podcast. You can watch the podcast. We also have our merch store. You can find tons of merch for Movies That Make You and our friends. We also have a link to our letterbox where you can see all the movies that we watch in preparation for the new releases, but also the movies that make you laugh, the movies that make you cry, the movies that make you scream, and everything in between. So before we get to this week's episode, let's check out what we got coming up on the Movies That Make You podcast. Next week, PoppaGoss and I welcome Sidekick Inc. to discuss Sam Raimi movies, all in preparation for Send Help dropping in theaters that Friday. We're going to talk through all of his highlights and his lowlights and enjoy the conversation around this incredible director. The week after that, we're celebrating Black History Month. We're going to be discussing essential Black films. We've got our buddy Tommy from the Popalicious Pop Heads. He's going to be lining down that list for us. It's going to be a good time. The week after that, we're preparing for Wuthering Heights. We're going to have Kristen on the podcast as we discuss a bunch of different tragic romance movies and the book, Wuthering Heights. The week after that, we've got a special guest on the show, the Horror Green Book. Brendan's going to be discussing the movies that he finds fascinating from around the world. Josh and I are going to share some of our thoughts too. Hope those episodes excite you. So without further ado, let's get to the podcast. We are back with another episode of the Movies That Make You podcast. This is January of 2026. PoppaGoss is here as the official co-host for Movies That Make You. What's up, Josh?
How's it going, man? Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, well, you're here for the long haul now, so yeah,
I'm pretty stoked.
Yes, and we actually have a special guest also joining us today for this conversation. His name is Matt, the Spookie Okie on YouTube. What's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Doing awesome, man. Doing awesome. We met Matt at Tulsa HorrorCon. That's where we met him in person. I think y'all had connected a little bit on YouTube prior to that. But we just had a good time hanging out. You joined us for our live stream when we did Flash Gordon a few weeks ago, which was amazing. Fun. Amazing. Yeah. And so you said you wanted to be on the podcast and give it a shot. We said, how about Silent Hill? You said, sure, why not? And so here we are.
Let's do it.
And we're going to have this conversation because Return to Silent Hill drops in theaters this Friday. So we are kind of excited about it. We'll hear more about it on the podcast, of course. But yeah, we're going to talk about the first two films that have come out in theaters. And I think we'll probably talk a little bit maybe about the games and where this stuff comes from. But we're just going to see where the conversation takes us. I guess my first thing that we like to do before we jump into the movies is just catch up on the week. Let us know kind of how things are going. So Matt, as our guest, let us know, man, what's going on this week?
Not much. Work's been busy. It's always, I work in a lab, so everybody's trying to get all their stuff in at the end of the year, get all the insurance taken care of. So it's been hectic, but it's been good because it makes the day go by. Makes it go by fast.
Nice, very cool. What about you, Josh?
I've had a pretty busy week, not in a bad way. So I told everyone on previous episodes, I became a substitute teacher, just part-time. But I recently, starting last Thursday, I took a long-term job for a couple months, and it's really nice because the school, I can walk there. It's literally right next door to my house. So
awesome.
The teacher, she has my number and messaged me that her assistant teacher was going to be out for quite some time. And they found me on the Kelly Education app and were able to work with my schedule because I can't work Fridays because my wife works weekends. So it's pretty nice timing because winter break is 2 weeks and that's coming up not next week, but the week after. So I'll work Monday through Thursday next week and then the kids will be on winter break. I'll be on winter break, get caught up on stuff around the house, but been trying to catch up on my personal channel, the PoppaGoss channel. I did get a couple things put out. And I did a hot topic and box lunch. I filmed it probably almost 2 months ago. I had all these videos to put ready to go. It's about 17 minutes long, and I finally was able to like sit down last weekend and like edit it and put it together. And because when I do my hunts, I film everything, but I don't talk in it just to not disrupt stores. So I film stuff, a bunch of short videos of the new stuff that comes out. And then when I put it together on iMovie, I record my voice over it, almost like it's happening live. And so that's what I do for my target hunts, my box lunch, hot, whatever it is. So I put this huge one together. I got a couple shorts coming out this week. Hopefully get caught up on some really cool stuff that I got in the mail. I got some new stickers for my channel that finally came in like a month later. So I got to get those unboxed. But yeah, it's just been, working substitute, doing errands for around the house, getting my son, all that fun stuff like normal. So
Nice.
fun. Yeah.
That's awesome. My week's going pretty good. Got work stuff. It was funny. Like I was on a call the other day and was just kind of walking through some items that we knocked off the list. Like, hey, here's what we've been working on. This one. And we just it was just one of those days where like a lot of little projects had kind of like been completed. And so one of the guys was like, can I hire you to come work on my personal life and help me complete some things? I said, sure, I'll send you my fee and we'll see if we can work something out. So that always feels good, like when you feel like appreciated for what you're doing. And then another item that that we're working on is every Christmas or every December, I guess, we do like a holiday party, and we do it's just online, like in Microsoft Teams thing. And so we play Jeopardy, Family Feud, Wheel of Fortune, and Let's Make a Deal. And everybody that's in our department gets to play in the games, and they win prizes and things like that. And it's like just a big like cultural, just like let's have a good thing, let's celebrate each other and thank each other for being on the team and working hard and all that stuff. And so I get to like craft all those games in the PowerPoint presentations to make them work and like come up with the questions with our CEO. And he's also the guy that wanted to do the horror movie a few years ago, and so he really thinks outside the box of how to create a fun world culture.
Awesome.
So he likes to do these games. Good. So it's been fun. It's a lot of work to try and put everything together, but it's been fun. So that's what I'm kind of working on, trying to finish up right now. And then as far as podcast goes, we crossed 1,000. We crossed 1,000 subscribers or followers on Instagram. Awesome. So that's awesome, thank you guys for sharing that and for just following, and thank you for everybody that's listening and watching for being a fan. And if you aren't a fan yet, a follower on Instagram, go ahead and check us out. Movies That Make You, that's where you can find us. You can find PoppaGoss 33. Is it PoppaGoss 33 on Instagram also?
Yeah, I can't get rid of that number, so yeah.
Hey, we gotta have the brand.
It won't let me erase it every time I try to edit it. So
yeah,
I wish I could make it easier, but it's fine.
Yeah, the Spookie Okie on Instagram and YouTube. Yep. We'll be sure to put all that information in the description of this video, so you guys can follow everybody, and let's just share the love. But I was super excited. So funny story. I was sitting at 93 or something. I put that post up. I got a couple, and it was like just sitting at 95 for like forever. And I was like, come on. So then a friend of mine actually had another account. So they followed it with the other account and like, okay, cool. I got an extra one. And awesome. then I went, I took Zeke. Zeke was in a Wizard of Oz musical for this semester. He's taking theater. So he's 7th grade. So it was just the kid's version of Wizard of Oz. And so as a celebration of that, they invited all the actors and tech crew and all that stuff to go see Wicked 2 in the theater on Tuesday. So I decided, I'm taking him up there, and so we go inside, and his theater teacher and like 2 choir teachers are sitting there, and I'm like, we're talking, he's making jokes, and they're laughing, they're loving his personality. And I said, you do know that he's on a podcast, right? And they're like, no. And I said, yeah. And so I pulled it up on Instagram. I was like, see, he's on the podcast. We've got like, we're close to 1,000 subscribers or followers on Instagram. And so they're like, oh, well, I'm going to follow. So that got us to
Awesome.
1,001. So it was one of those.
Networking at its finest.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah.
And the theater teacher was like,
kids.
yeah, absolutely. The theater teacher was like, I mean, I just have a dream of being on a podcast. And Zeke's like, you think we could have her? I'm like, totally, so we'll find some reason to bring her on, next year and just kind of have a fun conversation with my son's theater teacher. But they did a really good job with the production, all that stuff. And so, but it was really cool. They were really excited about that. They're like, man, you could just talk. There's so many things you can talk about movies. Like, I know. So anyway, that was kind of my week. So it was fun. But definitely, I mean, we're still in January on these episodes and super excited for everything that we have going on. So if you didn't check it out, we had the ZombieCon creators on last week for the zombie for 28 years later. So that was awesome. And then the Friday before that, we had Preston Poulter on with Frontier Crucible. So check that out on YouTube on our interviews playlist, and be on the lookout for more interviews coming soon. So very excited. Cool. Well, let's talk about Silent Hill. I think that, like I said a little bit earlier, like I think for me, I don't know about you guys, but I played the Silent Hill video game when it first came out when I was in college. Matt, did you ever play it?
I did not. I have not played. I'll be honest with you. My introduction to Silent Hill was the movie.
Okay.
And that was I watched it. I guess when we met in Tulsa, I had watched it like the week before.
Yeah.
Because I was just going back and just watching movies I hadn't seen before.
Yeah.
So then I rewatched it last night. I watched that one and then the second one. I know nothing about the games.
Yeah.
I don't know it. Yeah, I don't know anything.
No, it's all good.
I love the first movie's really good. I mean, the first movie's just, I think I texted you guys earlier. That movie's just creepy.
Yeah,
for sure.
It's creepy. And I use the word unsettling. That movie, I was just unsettled the whole time watching that movie. I was just like, I usually don't get those feelings from movies like that, but I don't know. Something about that movie was just, I was just like, oh, this is not, this is kind of creepy.
Exactly. Well, and that's how the game was. It was just, it had some jump scares. But then it's just the whole thing is just like the bouncing back and forth between the dark and the light. Like that was like the game.
Right.
Josh, did you ever play the game?
I did, but I think I only maybe played bits of the first one. I remember, so when the first one came out on PlayStation 1, because the first couple games were only Sony owned, so they weren't on Xbox, whatever Xbox was out at this time or whatever. But yeah, you used to be able to rent it at like Blockbuster. You could even rent the game systems back like you could rent a PlayStation 1, Nintendo 64, like all the systems that were out, you could rent them from Blockbuster. And I remember I finally got a PlayStation 1, and I think I want to say I rented Silent Hill. And the first game, if I might be wrong, I might be confusing it with another game, but remember PlayStation 1 used to have the I guess these were like the early versions of the larger cases, because then they went to like the CD case cases.
Yeah.
So yeah, they used to have those big bulky black ones that like slipped open.
Yep.
But I used to I rented the first one when it first came out, because I loved playing video games when I was little and when I was a teenager, but I mostly played like sports games like Madden and stuff like that. I very seldom got into like not that I didn't enjoy them with my friends, but like they were so much better at those like critical thinking games where you go through. And so I just, I played it bits and pieces of it, but yeah, it's an awesome game. I mean, Konami's been around for so long and they're such a big studio. So they put out a lot of good games, but Silent Hill, I remember it being pretty revolutionary at the time. So
yeah, I picked it up in college, and I'm kind of the same. I was kind of the same way. I got introduced to a lot of those games in that time period, was like renting them from Blockbuster. So me and I think it was my freshman year of college, me and my roommate, like we would, like one of the first games we did this with was Metal Gear Solid. So we heard a lot of things about it. I didn't know anything about
that's
it.
A good one.
Except we heard it was like really good. So we got it. And we literally stayed up all night and skipped classes the next day and like beat it all in one sitting, like my roommate.
Wow.
So we would like alternate levels or whatever and all that stuff. And then we got another one that was what was Pitfall 3D, which was garbage.
Oh
But like
man,
the
Dude,
that
original
was
Pitfall's
bad.
Pitfall was
awesome.
cool,
Pitfall.
but the Pitfall 3D was like,
Right?
this is cheesy.
Pitfall.
But then Silent Hill was another one. It was like, and I don't know which one came out first, but I remember kind of thinking them in the same breath as like Resident Evil. They had their fans,
Yeah.
and then Silent Hill had their fans, and it was kind of like they were both the similar genre where it's a horror based kind of third person shooter or like kind of problem solving things like that. When I think of other games that kind of feel familiar to that, would be like an Uncharted, minus the horror, right? Uncharted, but it's that third person, like, hey, how do we get Tomb Raider? Similar thing like that. But then when I also think of one of the more recent series that is that kind of horror and third person is a series called Dead Space, which is just nuts. And I know they came out
I've
with
heard that one's good.
Yeah, it's really good. It kind of reminds you a lot of like an Alien, kind of in the sense that you're in space, you're trapped on a ship,
Right.
and there's these things coming after you. But then also just the weaponry is really unique because he's a mechanic, like they're space mechanics, and so he doesn't use like pistols and blasters and stuff like that. It's like all this like welding gear that he has on the ship, and it ends up turning into like weapons and stuff. So that's cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, it's got three. I think it's got three in there. I've played through all three. I think I 100%ed the first and second one when I was like on Xbox 360 or whatever. But I actually got the Xbox One version because I think it's a HD remake and it's just great. But I kind of think about those all games kind of in the same breath. It's like this kind of horror vibe, and you're scared, and it's a lot of just like slow moving, and then there's like jump scares that come after you, and then you're like, you got your heart rate up, you're just like trying to get out of this crazy situation, all that stuff.
Right.
So
Well, and I was gonna add like the horror aspect of it. It's super popular at like horror conventions. There's a guy here in OKC, and I think the last 3 years at the local cons, like I see him dressed as the Pyramid Head, like, and he's got like an actual, like, he looks legit. I mean,
No, he
has,
looks. Yeah, I've seen him. He
I'd
looks
say he's
legit.
been in my videos before, but man, yeah, he's like the fandom for Silent Hill is in like Resident Evil has, I think, a bigger fan base, but Resident Evil doesn't have enough standalone characters because it's all kind of all over the place, and there's so many different iterations of past ones and new ones. I don't think fans can like necessarily, like, they obviously have the fans that I forget what the group's called, but they dress in the Resident Evil like garb and all that, and they're usually at conventions. But Silent Hill seems to be like the more cosplayed one of the two, so it's definitely big in the horror community, which is really cool. So
yeah,
and then talking about the games, have you guys played the Alien Isolation?
I played a little bit of it. I watched my buddy play some of it too, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Did you play just a little bit of it because you got frustrated and you wanted to smash the controller?
No, I think
that's what I did. And I was like, here, I gave it to my buddy, and I was like, here, I'm just going to watch you play, or I'm going to buy like 6 new controllers because I'm getting mad.
I think what happened with me was I do remember it being challenging, but I just played it real quick. My friend had it, and he's like, here, you want to play? And I played real quick, and then I died or whatever, and I just kind of watched him play. But it was cool. I mean, he's much better at video games than I am. So at the time, I was like, man, you're way better at this than I am. And I'm very patient, so it didn't frustrate me as much.
Right.
But I also I'm not, like I said earlier, I'm not a diehard, like, I played sports games, Guitar Hero when it was out, SingStar. Like, I liked playing all those, family friendly things instead of the.
Yeah, I'm sports games or like Call of Duty. That's about my
Call of Duty.
That's about my extent of video games.
Yeah, Call of Duty was fun for a bit. And even that game, like I practiced, but like I just gave up at like even trying to be good online because I have friends back in Colorado that like have played professional college, like been on these big teams, and when they'll enter like with 5 minutes left in a match, and they'll get like 40 kills, and I have like 5 the whole match, and I'm like, I'll watch their videos, and they're like, I'm like, oh my God, it took me 10 seconds just to get a new a new gun.
Yeah.
Right. That's how
I
my
suck
kid
at
is.
these
Find
games.
some body armor.
Yep. That's what that's how
I
my kid
usually
is. So
just
he was,
hide.
yep. I just give it to him. I was like, here, log in under me and just level me up till I have all the guns I need. And then I'll just go play.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For
Same.
me, like I actually really dig the solo because, and I think because I'm not great at the online play, like Call of Duty doesn't intrigue me. I like the story. I go through and I play the
Right. Yeah.
campaign. I actually 100%ed Modern Warfare 2 on Xbox 360,
tough.
and that took me
Nice.
like months
That's
because it
an
was
awesome
like
game.
dedicated. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I really gravitate towards the stories that are kind of solo assassin missions or things like that. Like there was one called Siphon Filter where you played
That's
like
a good one.
CIA agent back in the PS1. And then Splinter Cell also came out, obviously, for PlayStation and Xbox. So I played through all those. And I like sneaking around, all that stuff. So then, of course, you got Assassin's Creed and then the Batman Arkham series. And so those three games, like
I
Splinter Cell,
love those games.
Those
are like
Batman
the
games
ones.
are amazing.
Yeah. And so I don't know if it's out yet, but they're coming out with a new Batman Lego game that's going to utilize the same fighting engine as the Arkham series.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. That is.
So
I'm telling you, I'm a sucker for the. Am I the only one here that's a sucker for the Lego games?
No,
The Lego
they're
games
so
are
great.
fun.
Yeah.
I love them.
I think when my brother first got his 360, he got his Xbox came with a 2-pack of Lego games. It was Indiana Jones, which I liked to play because it was the story was really fun, and then I think it was like Marvel or Star Wars or some. There was another Lego game, but they're fun,
Right?
You know, even there was a Batman one that came out. I think it was the game of the month for for the PlayStation Network 1 month, and I got it, and it was I think it was like a villains game too. So like you
That
could be
game's fun. I know
Joker
what
and
you're
stuff.
talking about.
Yeah,
Yep.
and it was a free. I got it for free, which is already a plus. Secondly, I was like, man, I love Batman and all the universe stuff, so it was really cool. But yeah, I love that stuff. But yeah, I specific because I hadn't got a new system in a long time. So I got the PS4, the Arkham Knight edition PS4 when it came out because I found out that Arkham Knight was only going to be on the new system. So I was like, oh my God, I haven't got a new system since like PS2. So I pre-ordered it from GameStop, picked it up, and Arkham Knight is still one of my favorite. Like I think when I first got it, I mean, I had to work and stuff, but I stayed up. That's back when I could stay up all night, but I played Arkham Knight for like a whole week straight just because it was so much fun.
Yeah, those games are fun.
Yeah,
well, just because like you literally get to be like those games are so cool because you are Batman. It's so cool.
Speaking of the Lego games, like when the boys were little, like that's what I used to play with them. Like we like try to 100% like get all of every level, try to get all 10 of the bonus things and all bonus packs and unlock every character. So yeah, we got the Batman one, we got the Marvel one, the Jurassic Park one, and of course
Jurassic
the Star
Park.
Wars. The Star Wars, like
I forgot
full
about the
saga,
Jurassic Park one.
like all 9 movies.
That one is a blast.
Yeah. Zeke's actually beat it by himself. He beat all the story and everything. It's just like pretty crazy. And I think the fun thing about the Lego is it makes it takes the story. You get the story that you know from the movie, but it's also somewhat tongue in cheek, spoofing itself and being playful with it. And so it's funny. It's kind of like not as crass as like a Family Guy version of Star Wars, but it's like you're getting a little bit of that humor along with the movies. So yeah, and then speaking of the Arkham Knight, like I actually Jacob saw me playing that, and he was like, I want to play that. I was like, man, you can't play this one. You got to play the first one first. So I made him play Arkham Asylum because Arkham Asylum was so like a slow moving, more methodical, less movement, less space because you're just stuck in the asylum. But it was like, let's test this. What can we do with this type of like environment and this, and these gadgets, and like they're really kind of doing something that was very new and unique. And then they're like, okay, now let's expand that to Arkham City. Now we got a little bit more space to play with. We can glide more. We can do some cool stuff. And then Arkham Knight, it's just like you got the Batmobile, and you got
they really service the fans for that because not only are you getting to pretty much be Batman and live in that universe, but you can't do it without Kevin Conroy's voice. And
That's what I was about to say.
I'm so sad he passed away. Like, I had multiple opportunities to meet him, and I just said I'll meet him later, and I just never did. So I'm really sad. But what an awesome, just such a great Batman voice. So, and then
he's awesome.
all except for the second game. Actually, no, I think Arkham Origins and Arkham, whatever the second one was after Asylum.
Arkham City.
So Troy Baker, who's a famous voice actor, he did Joker for those two games, but Mark Hamill did Arkham Asylum and Arkham Knight, which was, I'm pretty sure that's accurate. So I mean, bring in the Batman animated series, which is one of the best animated, like bringing voices from that into that world on top of it being just well made, and you get to do so many cool stuff. I'm really sad we never got the Ben Affleck Arkham Asylum movie that he was going to direct, because that would have been
that'd have been good.
Yeah, it would have been. I mean, I think Deathstroke was supposed to be like the main bad guy, and then they teased him in the end credits. Obviously, Joe Manganiello, but yeah, that would have been. It got shelved and never happened, but yeah, I would have loved to see that movie.
That would have been good. I liked Ben Affleck as Batman. I didn't think he was bad at all.
His Bruce Wayne, it needs a little bit of work. It's not bad, but like obviously, Christian Bale, Michael Keaton were such good Bruce Waynes. But you can't, that warehouse scene alone. Sometimes when I want to like get pumped up, I will find it on YouTube. That is one of my favorite Batman scenes that has ever been. Like, that is the most comic accurate Batman we will ever that we've had up to this point. Like, Robert Pattinson's did a good job of doing some stuff like that, but like, he was actually huge in that. Like, that wasn't a rubber suit. That was actually Ben Affleck, and just like the violence and it was just so. I mean, I remember seeing it in the theater opening night, and I had chills. I was like, I've been waiting my whole life. Like, Batman's my favorite thing, so I was like, oh man. But yeah, it's all right. Maybe one day we'll get that as Arkham Asylum movie.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Who knows if Netflix buys
right,
Warner Brothers? Who knows what's gonna happen?
Well, I just saw that they actually cut Zack Snyder loose. Netflix did, because Rebel Moon did so bad, so they cut his deal. They dropped his deal.
Did they really?
Yeah, and it was ahead of the Warner Brothers. For that one. It was because it was basically his Star Wars movie, because he wrote it for Star Wars and they passed. And so he's like, all right, well, let me, I actually haven't watched it yet, so maybe I'm part of the blame, but.
No, I watched the first one. I didn't watch the second one.
Yeah.
I see the Funko Pops all the time, but I haven't seen the movies yet.
Speaking of Zack Snyder, I actually just rewatched Sucker Punch.
That is a great movie.
A couple weeks ago. It's one of those movies that I don't think a whole lot of people understood what was going on.
No.
Like when I watched it the first time, I didn't really, but I was like, this is stylistically very cool. And then like rewatching it this time, it's just like, it's doing stuff that we just hadn't seen before.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, that one scene where I think it's her first scene where it's in the battle sequences.
Yeah.
And she's fighting those huge statues. You're just like,
yep.
This is insane.
Yeah, there's so much going on in that movie, though. I mean, I think you probably went in there and it was like just overstimulated, just overload.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it was early Oscar Isaac too, like before he got like, and he's so good in that evil role.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great cast. I mean, that I'm drawing a blank on the main actress,
Emily Browning.
Yeah, she was like. I thought she was going to be, the next, because she started getting a bunch of roles in a lot of indie films when I worked at the video store, and I really like her, and I think she's really good. But that's a movie. I think what you just said, I think it was like ahead of its time, and I don't think a lot of people, now people look back on Zack Snyder's his resume, and they probably, now that Rebel Moon is so not well received, I think like people are like, oh, Sucker Punch wasn't really. I went back and rewatched it, and I think it's getting like kind of not a cult following, but like people are appreciating it now, you know,
I
years
think they're
later.
I think they're finding it. People are just now finding it. You know, just kind of like his remake of Dawn of the Dead is probably
Oh,
his
it's
best movie.
so good. Like I
I
was
mean,
just
that's a
talking to
great
somebody
movie.
the other day about Dawn of the Dead. I was like, the original is obviously a classic, but like the remake, not many times you can say a remake is just as good or
Yep.
like he did such a great job. I remember my brother and I saw that in the theaters and we both walked out of that and we were like, that was so well made. It was
Yeah.
so good.
Absolutely. And another shameless plug, go listen to our podcast last week because that's where that conversation came up as we were talking zombie movies. So great
Awesome.
callback.
Zombies.
All right. So speaking of horror and zombies, see that nice transition?
Yeah, there
Let's
you
talk
I
go.
do. I
about
like it.
Silent Hill. This movie came out in 2006. And it follows a mother and a daughter. They're traveling to this place called Silent Hill. They end up on the way there. They end up in this dark universe, this pocket universe that is Silent Hill. The dad comes and follows them, can't find them anywhere. So there's obviously this type of, they're in another realm, another kind of dimension of the universe that is the dark dimension. And then while they're in that dark dimension, they get attacked or they get tracked down by all these different monsters along the way. They're trying to find a way to release their daughter from having these kind of episodes and this fear that she has and things that she's scared of in her nightmares and all that. But then come to find out she's like a resemblance or like a descendant or like some sort of spiritual connection to a person that was from Silent Hill that was a daughter that was, I think she was, you know, I can't remember the full story there, but maybe one of you guys can help me out there. But then like it's just trying to find a way out. And meanwhile, as they're going, they're in like kind of, it's a normal Silent Hill. And then whenever the bell rings, it's like, all right, we're about to go into the dark Silent Hill. And it's like all the demons come out and stuff.
Yeah,
and
it's got
so,
that creepy. It's got that creepy like bullhorn, like a foghorn kind of
mhm,
thing that goes off. That we end
yeah,
up finding is on a church
yep.
at
And
the
so
end.
then, yeah, they end up going to this place in the church, and the church wants nothing to do with these people. I think, but she's like ends up going ahead, like the lady she's working with, that ends up being the mother of the daughter or something like that, right? Like it's
It's
something
the.
the lady.
I'm so confused because I watched both of them.
Yeah.
I watched both of them back to back. But yeah, I don't know if it's the. I don't know if it's the mother.
She's kind of like the outcast of the society, but she finds her way working with her or whatever, and then she
Okay,
ends up.
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused. I'm thinking the lady in the church was the mother. No, the lady that there's like a, I don't know. She's like a transient is what she looks like.
Yeah.
It's the blonde from the game, right? Wasn't she in the game?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I can't remember her name. She was in Payback too with Mel Gibson, which is another awesome movie.
No, that's
But
it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's her daughter. And then they end up
Deborah
thinking,
Unger.
yeah, I think they end up thinking that her daughter is like a witch or she
Mm-hmm.
gets, I can't
So
remember what.
yeah, so they want to kick her out, and so then the mom ends up going into the darkness and trying to rescue the daughter. Ends up rescuing the daughter, but has to sacrifice herself. So the daughter makes it back to reality, and the dad finds her, and then they, it's kind of like this bittersweet ending because the daughter's saved, but the mom is not, and so it's kind of sacrificed herself. Um, but that's got a little bit of the story. I know I botched it. There's stuff, but I kind of get the ballpark. So what are some of your thoughts? What are some of the standout moments for you, Matt?
The one that I'll tell you what, the one that creeped me out the most is when she was walking down. Well, first of all, she goes into right when she gets into the town, she has a wreck. She wakes up, her daughter's gone, so she's freaking out. And then she's walking around. It's got that creepy, looks like snow, but I guess it's ash because the town on fire under it, right? Like it's whatever the lore is. I guess that there's supposed to be a fire burning under the town or something still. But she's walking down that tight staircase, and that horn goes off, and then it goes all black, and then she lights she just has that lighter, and it's just pretty much for a while, it's just that lighter on her face.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you get that one, I don't know what it is, where it looks like it has no arms and it's bouncing around.
Yeah.
That one is super creepy. That and then the giant triangle guy is
Pyramid
awesome.
Head, yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible. Yeah.
Pyramid
Super
Head is
cool.
good. I like what I noticed, and I pulled it up immediately, is the guy who's the cinematographer, because I thought the cinematography was awesome. I was just looking at it going, this movie's shot way better than it should be, So I looked him up, and I think he's the guy that I think he works with Del Toro now. So I think he did like Shape of Water. He did the new Frankenstein. He's done a bunch of his movies. But anytime you can get angles like that kind of creep you out,
Yeah.
is always cool to me too. And then I thought the effects were pretty good for 2006.
The only effects that I thought, that first scene when she first shows up and all those little kind of monsters start coming at her, like those are the only ones that I was like, okay, this is a little bad CG, but outside of those, and then they were the same look the whole time. So it wasn't like it's like, okay, that's just what they look like, whatever. But yeah, the rest of the CG I thought was really impressive. Kind of how the when it goes from like kind of the daytime to the darkness, like it just kind of peels away like paint peeling and just kind of gets to dark. That was such a cool effect. Yeah. Before I go, what about you, Josh? What are some standout moments for you?
Yeah, it's kind of similar to the Pyramid Head is like really cool because it's not CGI. It's all, practical, which is stuff I love. I do like the bathroom scene where she like comes to the realization, not realization, but she kind of sees how unsettling and how scary where she is going to be. That scene's really cool. But yeah, so the guy's name who played him was Roberto Campanella, and just some fun facts. He had to wear 15-inch heels, which made him 7 feet tall. The Red Pyramid is what his name is. But he's worked on It Chapters 1 and 2, The Strain, Shape of Water, Nightmare Alley, Frankenstein. So he's obviously worked with Del Toro as well. And he also played the janitor in the movie. And then he was he's like a choreographer. That's like his main trade. So he actually worked with all the creatures in the movie. So that's what he does in movies. He like works with people who are dressed up as creatures and he makes sure their movements are good and how they do. So not only did he play like the big, famous villain from the movie, the Red Pyramid, but he like choreographed a lot of that stuff, which is really cool. What I found interesting, going back and reading stuff about the movie, it was written by Roger Avery, and I was like, that name sounds so familiar. So he won an Oscar with Quentin Tarantino, which is a popular name right now. So good timing, but he won, he co-wrote Pulp Fiction with Quentin Tarantino.
Wow.
And also, I knew his name was familiar because he hosts the podcast with Quentin Tarantino. If you never checked it out, it's called Video Archives. And they met working at the video store called Video Archives back in the day, both of them together. So I just thought that was, when I read who wrote it, I was like, that's crazy. And I guess I also read Avery was at one time, he was supposed to do a 5th Phantasm movie called Phantasm's End. And it would have starred Bruce Campbell, which is kind of crazy.
That's crazy.
Well, like I love Bruce Campbell, but like in a Phantasm, it's kind of wild. So, but I guess the funding fell through, or that it had to be canceled or something. But yeah, I just thought that was really interesting that Oscar winner who is like really good friends with Quentin Tarantino worked on it, and then many of the creatures in the movie were actually I was telling you that the Roberto Campanella, he got a lot of like the dancers that he's worked with to be the creatures. So like obviously they are agile and can move and do all the movements pretty easily. So it's pretty cool. And then the director, he's a foreign director. It took him 5 years to get the rights to make Silent Hill into a movie. he was given the rights after they saw a video interview that he sent to Konami about how much he loved Silent Hill, the video games. And then he ended up that reel or whatever that he sent them, the interview that he did. He used his own money to film like scenes, and he put music from the games in the background to kind of show him what his like vision was for it. So I thought that was really cool.
So he pulled a Deadpool before Deadpool.
Yeah. Exactly. And then a really cool thing, just a backstory on like the video games. The first video game debuted in 1999 for PlayStation 1. We were just talking about that. To date, there have been 17 Silent Hill games, and that includes remastered versions and remade versions. But I thought that was quite a lot. And then I wanted to talk real quick. They did a demo of a game in the Silent Hill universe that was supposed to become a full-length game. And I remember my friend in Colorado, we worked at the video store. I came over late one night and he's like, bro, you got to check this game. It's just a demo, but like you can play through it and you could download it in the PlayStation store. And it was called PT. And it was supposed to be the new like Silent Hill video game. This game, I am not even kidding you, is one of the scariest things I have, like movie or anything I've ever watched. So I was watching I didn't even play it. I would have been too scared to play it. My friend was playing it and we had the lights off and we were, had a few beers and stuff. I was watching him play it, but like you go through this house and the whole premise of the game is you're like trying to find your way, I guess the correct way out, but you just keep like going in and out of the house. But there's there's like a ghost or an entity or whatever, and she will only attack you if you're looking at her. So if you're not looking at her, she won't attack. So like there's like a mirror in the bathroom and she'll like show up. There's a really terrifying, like you go up in this like hallway with like the entryway of the house, and you like look up and the lady, she has like no face and she's like up on the banister, like looking down at you. And then you have to like get out and then make sure she doesn't catch you. And that game was so scary, but I wish they would have made the full version. Maybe they still will, but yeah, that game always popped. When I think of Silent Hill, I'm always like, man, PT was like the scariest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great. But yeah, Silent Hill, I mean, it's a lot of fun. I think it was underrated at the time, and I think it's not. I mean, you don't put it in the same category as like cult classic, but I think obviously now that they're making another one, I think it's kind of stood the test of time, and fans want a new movie out and stuff, even though they've gotten some games and stuff. But yeah, it's fun.
Well, and you think about like something like Final Destination just had its big movie this year. That did really well. Best Rotten Tomatoes score of any of the Final Destinations. We also have next year, we've got Ryan, what's his name? Ryan Coogler, for Coogler. No. The guy that did Weapons, right? He's doing Resident Evil.
Oh yeah, it's
I was just talking about him.
Yeah.
Weapons, probably my favorite movie of last year. Now I can't think of his name.
What is wrong with me? I told you the other night, I'm like, I'm losing it, man. I was literally just talking about him yesterday.
Zach Krager.
Zach Krager.
There you
Good Lord.
Took me a minute.
We got there.
I've even met him. Like I met him years ago, and I'm like, I can't even freaking remember. So anyway, yeah.
But
Zach Krager.
but he's doing Resident Evil, which with his ability to make the films he has made already, the tone's going to be on point. It's not going to be a Milla Jovovich Resident Evil, which I enjoyed those for what they were, but it didn't have the same vibe as what I think we were expecting from a Resident Evil movie. A little bit more slower pace, a little bit just more scary than it is a shoot 'em up action film, which is what we got with Milla Jovovich. But so I mean, those two kind of in between are these kind of older IPs that they're kind of bringing back and saying, hey, let's try these again. So I think Silent Hill just fits right in the middle of those two. And I wish it well, man. I hope it does really well, because especially because this first one got the tone right. It did do a really good job with the scares. Some of the notes I took down was like the practical effects were on point.
Yeah,
Like you said,
definitely.
Josh, Red Pyramid was scary as
So
all get
cool.
out. His first reveal is insane. The big sword, all that stuff. And then he grabs the one lady and he rips off her clothes. And you're like, oh, there you go. He's a bad guy. And no, he's not done. He rips off her skin and she's hanging there. Like,
Right.
whoa.
And then he throws it against the door. Then he throws it against the door.
Yeah, as they're closing the church door, and it's just splat. You're just like, oh, what is this? I mean, that was like right in the middle of the movie. So it was just a great kind of mid-movie kind of climax to kind of set up the next half. I will say that the second half of the movie starts in the church, and then we get like 15 minutes of explanation of everything, so it's just like it's kind of an expository section, which a lot of times is like you don't necessarily like want to spend the entire let me just explain everything to you in one sitting. But it did serve its purpose to try and give us the backstory. That's where we heard about the mother and the daughter and the girl and why they're scared, why they're hiding out, all this stuff, why Silent Hill is the way it is. But then I think the other standout for me is the nurses, which are very similar to the lady you were talking about, Josh, from PT, in that they don't move. They only move if you're looking at them. And so they had to move through this area. And just like you said, with the dancers, you could tell they're just really good at moving their body. Cause you've seen characters like this before, but I really don't think that there's any other movie where that many people moving naturally felt so exactly perfect and scary for what it was. It was so great. And then of course they make a comeback in the second one as well. But yeah, and then you end with the barbed wire grabbing a hold of things and pulling bodies and stuff like that. I was getting Hellraiser vibes from that kind of ending. Yeah. So that's kind of my notes for Silent Hill 2006. Really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it the first time I saw it, and then watching it again, I was like, yeah, this still holds up. Like I said, there's a couple of parts, the CG, a little bit of exposition, maybe not great, but there's other things in this movie that are so good that you can kind of I overlooked the other things. Cool.
Yeah, it's that one. The only one I can't believe I didn't say this when it was. You asked me what stuck out was the guy who actually when she's in the bathroom and she opens the door and that guy's all twisted up, tied up into the with the barbed wire. And then once it gets dark, he comes crawling out and he's all twisted up. I was like, this is just the creepy factor in that was just off the charts for me.
The other thing you were mentioning, Matt, you want to tell the Stranger Things reference?
Oh yeah, I was totally getting these guys must have played a lot of this game, because it was just that one scene where they're passing each other in the hallway by the lockers, and he's in the daylight, she's in the dark, and that one guy's just trying to he just wants to get him out of there because he knows what's going on. And he knows that somehow he's getting a connection with his wife. But yeah, I was just sitting there going, even the look of when it gets dark reminds me a lot of Stranger Things. So I think those guys I haven't read anything to see if they pulled from that.
I just looked it
feels
up.
Like.
I just looked it up. They have not played the games, but they know of them. And the aesthetic and the atmosphere, they based the Upside Down. So you were on, you were right.
Nice.
I'm sure they've played a little bit, but I don't think they were hardcore gamers. But yeah, I get that feeling too. So
very nice. Well, let's go ahead and rate it. We do out of 5. Let's rate it out of 5. What do you got, Matt?
I'll give it a 3, probably 3.5.
Okay. Josh, how about you?
Yeah, I'll probably give it about a 3, because the 3 mainly for just the practical effects are my favorite part of the whole movie, and it has some really cool scenes here and there. But overall, there's some things they could have made better. But yeah, a 3. I think a 3 is fair.
Yep, I got it as a 3 as well. Yeah. Definitely worth. Especially Matt, great reference to Stranger Things. So if you're a fan of Stranger Things and you like those types of stories, definitely check this out if you haven't checked it out yet. Cool. All right. Well, let's jump into Silent Hill Revelation. 6 years after the first movie, we get Silent Hill Revelation. I don't even know if I can walk down the story of this one. I think the main idea is that the daughter is now a teenager. She and her dad are having issues, leave me alone, dad, let me grow up. I got to find mom, all that stuff. And then
or on the run for some reason.
Yeah. And then she's on the run, and then the upside down people start coming after her. And, I think for me, where some of it, I mean, we get Jon Snow. Jon Snow shows up, so that's pretty cool. So we got Ned Stark and Jon Snow, in
I didn't
this
put that
movie.
together until just now.
Yeah, it was Kit Harington's first acting role ever.
Yeah,
Silent Hill Revelations.
So he ends up helping the daughter kind of get out of the situation. But I mean, a lot of the things that I think make it, other than the story being a little just kind of all over the place, I think the other thing for me is that it's just retreading the same thing. We get the nurses, we get Red Pyramid, we get some creeps, but it's really, I have a note here. What's happening? Is this the same girl? I thought they were stuck in the upside down. Like, I thought.
Yeah, that's exactly where I went. I was like, I don't know what's going on right now.
Oh, and then it's
Silent
a dream.
Hill Revelation is a great name, because I had a revelation and I don't know what this movie is about.
That's exactly what I was sitting there watching it and I was going, why is Trinity in this movie?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah. And why does she
Carrie-Anne
look like
Moss.
one of the freaky why does she look like one of the freaky twins from the
Yeah.
from the
Reloaded?
second one? And
Yeah.
and I was like, well, I don't know who was she?
Yeah. I don't know.
Because they killed the other lady, right? In the 1st one?
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. They did.
From Walking Dead.
No. The church lady. I'll just call her the church lady. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah. The church lady.
well,
the Borg Queen.
Yeah, she does show up. She does show up in this one. Also, I think it's like
It's a flashback, right?
I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I think Carrie-Anne Moss and Malcolm McDowell were just added to, like,
Try and give it some
I have
weight.
a feeling some of the execs probably saw the early stuff or the storyboards and were like, we got to get some heavy hitters up in here. So
When did this one come out?
2012.
So 6 years after the first one, which is
that
quite a long time.
That's not Matrix 2 or 3, right?
No,
That's
that was
a long time ago, right?
2003. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think 2003 was the Reloaded and Revolutions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
It did have a segment in it that was like a dream within a dream. So that caught me. I was like, oh, that made me laugh a little bit. And then I guess she found a way to communicate from Silent Hill, and was able to send the daughter back somehow. Go
ahead. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, it feels like a made-for-TV movie. That's one of my notes too. Like, it's just, but then there's some Saw edits. Like, there's some moments in it that feel like that really hectic, like Saw and moving cameras and things, and then cuts and edits and music, all that stuff.
I did like the nurses in this one. That scene,
yeah, they're really cool.
I like that scene a lot. And when you were talking about like everybody moving at the same time, have you guys seen Smile 2?
I love Smile 2.
Okay. Do you remember do you remember when she's dreaming and all of the dancers are coming down the hallway?
Yeah.
And she'll just look back. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. Smile 2 is, I bought this steelbook because I love
both the Smile movies I love.
Well, plus, like, Jack Nicholson's son is the cover of Smile 2, so.
Yeah.
I did say that I liked the practical mannequin monster. I thought the mannequin monster was pretty cool looking.
That was cool.
But then when it went CG, it was like, well, there you go. Took me out of it. I was like, I was there, and then blah. And then, the pyramid man, Red Pyramid, is like just stuck down in a dungeon like the whole time.
Right.
And like, it was just like gross misuse of that.
They should have. Go ahead, Matt.
Why is he the power of the merry-go-round? I mean, you got a character that badass, and he's just,
when he's so massive, obviously, it's like,
this is what he's doing right here. For like half the movie that he's in, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
So I was confused.
I think the story is already, it starts out pretty confusing. It doesn't it's not that way the whole time. Like there's bits and pieces where you're like, okay, that makes sense. But like my thing is with this one at least was you can tell because this one was when 3D was like the thing in theaters. So you can see the scenes that they tried to like heavily do. And it's weird because I feel like the 3D for that time should have been better than like when we had 3D in like the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
But it's not.
Yeah.
Like
Well,
when the guy gets his the cop or whatever gets his fingers chopped off. Like those fingers look so bad digitally. That was my main complaint with this, other than the main actress not being good at all.
She's really not good.
Nothing again. I mean, I'm sure she ended up being in like the Great Gatsby, like the Baz Luhrmann. Like she's gotten some big roles, but she's just maybe this was not the role for her, but it's not her fault. But yeah, my biggest complaint was it went away from what made me like the first one, which is like the practical effect. Like they use practical effects with some of the creatures again, but you can tell a lot of like when the nurse or whatever jumps on the elevator, like you can that looks so digitally bad. And I was just like, why are you doing that? Like just make it. Like this would have been so cool if this was you guys really making this, which is maybe the budget couldn't hold up. I'm not sure, but yeah, that was disappointing for me because I feel like it took away from the film, and then and then obviously the story's already confusing, so bad effects on top of an an unwinding story is just not a equation that equals out to a good movie. So
yeah,
it kind of sucks.
I agree,
but.
My last note here is that the twist at the end where they do grab everything and start pulling them. I thought the end was a good twist where they turned the demons on the bad guy, right? Isn't that what happened, Matt?
Oh yeah,
you just saw it last night. Something.
Yeah.
I'm
trying to think how they did it.
I just wrote down Cenobite vibes.
Yes,
because I thought it was like this cool, like okay.
Well, and Trinity turns into, I'm calling her Trinity because like Carrie-Anne Moss, I couldn't remember her name.
She's awesome.
She looks like she turns into a Cenobite because she's got like saw eyes and head. But is that the same thing that jumps on the, that looked like the same character that jumped on the top of the elevator too? I was like, is that the same person?
I don't know.
So she running around out there and then she's in, there's a lot of confusing stuff going on in this movie.
Oh, and then there was, just some fun facts. Malcolm McDowell, he had to wear white contacts for his character because he was blind. And I guess it caused him like massive issues, like even to this day. Like he's already pretty old, but yeah, I guess his vision was pretty not that he's blind, but like it really messed up his eyes. And then a crazy thing, going back to Roger Avery. So Roger Avery was supposed to write the sequel. And I read this and I was like, I never even heard about this, but he went to jail for gross vehicular manslaughter, along with 2 felony counts causing bodily harm while intoxicated. He was driving an Italian friend and his wife home from dinner, and he crashed the car into a pole, and his wife survived, but she got ejected. The Italian friend died. He got 1 year jail and 5 years probation. But I never even heard of, like,
I didn't hear about that at all.
Not that I follow Roger Avery closely, but like I follow Quentin Tarantino, so I thought I would have like heard that little tidbit, but I thought that was crazy. I was like, oh my gosh. And then the director, MJ Bassett, was actually she's actually trans, so she used to be Michael J. Bassett, and then came out trans in 2017. So she was a guy when she did this movie, and then she came out trans in 2017. But I mean, she did some cool stuff later on. Like she did 4 episodes of Ash vs. Evil Dead. She did an episode of Iron Fist, the Marvel show. She did that new remake of Red's, or I don't know if it's a remake, but Red Sonja. I didn't even know that came out.
Did it come out
already?
Yeah, it has a critic. It has a Rotten Tomatoes score 56 critic and 54. No, it's funny you say that because I literally put in my notes. I said I didn't even hear that it was released. Like,
yeah, same.
So I think you can rent it now, but it's
Okay.
I mean, not terrible. I mean, 56 critic and 54 audience, not terrible.
Yeah.
And then I just thought this was funny. So you know how IMDb you can go like look at facts and trivia,
Yeah.
and usually people have like a long list of stuff. So for for MJ Bassett, she had 2 things, and one of the facts was one said she was dissatisfied with Silent Hill Revelations. I was like, that's the fun fact. She didn't like the
She
movie
didn't
that
like
she
her
made.
own movie.
And then one last thing on her, my good pal, so Swayu, it's an autograph company in the UK and in California. I've been on their podcast a couple of times, but my buddy Brian, who hosts the shows, he's a British guy. He actually had MJ Bassett on. He interviewed her recently on his. He gets a lot of like TV actors and directors and stuff. But he just had MJ Bassett on a few months ago. So if you want to go to the Swayu page, you can actually like hear what MJ Bassett has to say. And Brian's a good guy, so go check that out.
Yeah, definitely check it out.
Yeah,
cool.
that one was a mess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I had never seen it. Like I had never watched it until we were getting ready for this, and I kind of know why I like skipped it for a little bit. I mean, it had cool part. Like there were a couple of scenes where I was like, "Oh, that's really cool. They could have done this, and that would have been even better." And Sean Bean, obviously, I love Sean Bean. Carrie-Anne Moss is great. They brought back what's her name? Rhoda Mitchell.
Yeah,
for that
so
one.
I would say they brought her back for the whole movie. She was great in the first one.
At least they brought back consistency, because the new one that's coming out, I don't think, unless they make like a surprise cameo, I don't think anybody
None
from
of
the
them were in
first
it, right?
two. But the director of the first one is doing the new one, so that gives me some bit of hope. He hasn't done anything in a little bit, but that gives me a little bit of hope, so that's good.
He's like, let me redeem your movies for you.
One thing I was thinking, right?
Yeah.
One thing I was thinking while I was watching this movie is, if there's a movie that Sean Bean's going to die in, it's going to be this one. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, it's a horror movie.
This is a logical one that he would.
He has to die in this one, right? Because he dies in every movie.
He dies in every movie. Yeah, that's his like.
He makes
MO.
it to the first one, and I was like, all right, well, he's gonna get it in the second one. I mean, it's gonna be bad. It's gonna go south for him real quick. And I was like, what? I was like, he made it through the second one, so that got me thinking. I was like, how many movies has he not died in?
Right.
Do you know what I mean? He's been in like 80 some movies.
Yeah.
5.
Oh, that's amazing.
I'm pretty sure it was. I'm gonna have to look it up again. I think 5 movies he's only made it in.
I think you're right, but also think about this. I don't think he does a lot of horror movies, so maybe like you would think horror movies he would for sure die. Maybe horror movies they were like, we're gonna make you survive.
It's the upside down. It's the upside down.
Yeah. I mean, I always remember him from GoldenEye, like the video game. Like he was Trevelyan, the villain, and but like that's his MO. He died. I mean, obviously, Game of Thrones was like his worst death that he's ever had, but really badass.
Yeah, that one. I remember watching that one, and I was like, "How you kill?"
I know.
How you kill the guy on the poster?
I know. Well, and he's such a big character, and but then you're like, oh, it's Sean Bean.
Yeah.
Of course he lost.
Of course he died.
Of course he lost his head.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
All right, well, let's rate it. Let's rate it. What you got, Matt?
I'm gonna be generous and give it a 1.5.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it. And it got the 1.5 because I really like the nurse scene. I think is really cool.
Yeah.
So that's where the half's coming from.
I mean, its IMDb rating is 4.9 out of 10, and that's out of 70,000 reviews. So.
Wow.
That's actually better than I would have thought it would have been.
Yeah, I got a 2.5 on mine. 2.5. And I'm sure that's generous, but it's just
I mean, dang, dude. I kind of wish I would have seen it in 3D, only because maybe that would make me feel a little different. Well, and you know, a script's not always gonna be perfect, but like this one's just so I don't know how they didn't follow the formula like of the first movie and its story. Like just continue with that. Don't like make it a whole. It was almost like it was almost like it was 2 movies in one, It's like you're all over the place and you can't follow the storyline. I'm gonna probably give it, man. I don't want to be mean either, but I'm gonna give it. I'll be nice. I'll give it a 2 just because it's Kit Harington's first.
Yeah.
It's Kit Harington's first film, and it's clean shaven Kit Harington,
Right.
ladies. So beware. It's not Winter is Coming Kit Harington. It's not Pompeii Kit Harington.
He's still got the flowing mane though.
He does. He's a little bit
working on the hair.
He's a little bit, his face is a little chunky in it too, and it's only like 2 years before Game of Thrones. But I don't know if that's why. I don't know if it looks that way because he's clean shaven or because he actually, like, it was like his first, so he didn't have all the beauty tips yet.
Right.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's just how his face is shaped, and so in order to mask the chunky face, I don't know.
I mean, he's still
not unattractive. I mean, he's a good looking dude.
I'm like, you could be, you could be fat, brother. It's all good.
Yeah.
Kit Harington.
Yeah, that one.
No, it had some cool scenes, but yeah, I think I'll be nice. I'll give it a 2 only because like there were some cool scenes for sure, but overall, it just the consistency and the story just gets. I think if the story, even if they didn't use all practical effects, the story would have just been coherent. Like that would have made a huge difference. Like you're confusing your audience, and like,
I mean, I was
the Silent Hill fans.
Yeah, I was confused within the first 5 minutes. I'm like, okay, wait. They're
like,
on the
run. What are you guys doing?
Her name is Heather, but it's not Heather. But I was like, why are we changing our names? What's happening? I don't know.
Yeah. Definitely went through some rewrites. You know it went through some rewrites.
Yeah.
Cool.
That seemed like a lot of producers going, I don't like this. Yeah, change this, cut this.
Awesome, guys. Well, appreciate your time tonight. Thanks for joining the podcast.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to everybody. Matt, what you got going on in your channel? You got anything going on in January?
I don't have a whole lot going on. I'm going to attempt my first walk through a convention because usually I'll go and I won't do anything. I won't video anything. I'm just confused because I'm totally into everything that's there. So I'm not super into anime. My kid likes anime. I'm not super into anime. So there's an anime convention coming up I'm going to go to, and that's going to be my test run.
Is that 405 anime?
Yeah, it's 405 anime. So we're going to go on Saturday.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I haven't been, but like they get like the big name people.
Right. They've got a whole bunch of people. My kid's excited because the guy who does Master Chief, the voice of Master Chief's going to be there.
Steve Downs.
Yeah.
Nice. You know what? We should sync up. I might go to that just to get out of the house. I don't really watch anime, but like I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I think it's cool. Maybe we'll sync up. I'll go to that.
We could do that. Yep. I started watching some show called Has Been Hotel on Prime. It's so wrong on a whole lot of different levels, but it's kind of funny. So there's a bunch of those people there, and evidently that show is just blowing up and just crazy. So
those voice actors were at GalaxyCon OKC there was like 6 of them at GalaxyCon last year, and I didn't know. I'd never seen the show.
Were those the guys who had lines consistently like the whole time?
They were pretty busy, but like I said when I met up with you at Tulsa, like Danny Trejo and Jason Isaacs were actually like the busy, like there were some big names there, and those two, like James Vanderbeek was there. When I met him, he had one person in his line.
That's crazy.
But Danny Trejo and Jason Isaacs, I had to wait like 40 minutes in their line. And like they were consistent all weekend. Chris Sarandon, Jack Skellington, and he didn't have a line. He didn't. But by the time I finished all my stuff, he'd already left for the day.
Right.
My son loves Nightmare Before Christmas, and I like Nightmare Before Christmas, but I also like Fright Night.
Oh, Fright Night!
I would have liked to get an 8x10 signed by him from Fright Night, but he does a lot of cons, so
so. That's what I got going on.
We should sync up.
Yeah, that's what I got going on. And then I got to figure out how to pull all the old videos down that I've got out there that have nothing to do with my channel that I rebranded. So right now, if you go check it out, you're going to see my kid at about 5 or 6 running around in the snow.
Yeah.
I think there's one of him punching out the Grinch, which is kind of funny. Other than that, that's all that's on there. So
But on Instagram, though, he does a lot of like out of the theater stuff, or
Yeah,
like going to the theater. And
yeah, I'm more active on Instagram than I am Instagram, TikTok, some.
So go follow him on Instagram for sure, because he's got an awesome. And Matt, you're an awesome person, so
I appreciate it.
Follow you.
You guys, you guys are too. I appreciate you guys having me on.
No, absolutely, man. Thanks again.
Fun.
We'll have you on again.
Sure.
Yeah, we already scheduled it, right? What's the next one you're on?
What were we talking about?
What was it?
It's we haven't seen that movie. It's the movie we have. Oh my gosh, Labyrinth, right?
Labyrinth. Yeah, we're gonna do the Labyrinth. Yeah,
we're
gonna
do
Labyrinth.
YouTube live.
Yeah, we got to do that one live.
There was another podcast.
What was the?
Kristen says hi, by the way.
Kristen,
hi, Kristen.
Is she in the room?
Yeah, she's over there.
Oh, Kristen, hey girl.
Ready or Not.
Hey,
that's
Kristen.
what it was.
That's
Ready or Not.
Yeah. So cannot wait to see that movie.
So I'll probably pull up a couple of other similar. Josh, if you have any ideas, or if Matt, if you have any ideas, like, because I like to do at least 2 or 3 movies in a podcast.
Yeah.
So
okay,
something that's a nice pairing with Ready or Not would be fun.
Yeah,
we could do some of the ones that like the guys have, like those like Radio Silence directed. Like we could do that one, and I love.
Yeah.
Do you guys like Abigail?
Yeah,
I loved Abigail. Yeah.
See, we could do that one, and then mix in something else. How about what's the other one that's like? What's the other one that's like Ready or Not? It's got a girl in it too. Like she's a survivalist. The poster has like a sheep or something on it. It's like a funky mask, like a funky sheep mask.
Oh,
that's driving me crazy. You're next. That's it.
Oh, okay,
that's a great movie.
That would probably be. That might be a good 3.
Yeah,
well, might be a good 3 movie.
Yeah, if you think of more, just let
I'll shoot you guys a text.
But that's a good one too. So I actually, Your Next is probably one out of that list you named. That's like my favorite, one of my favorites.
Oh, that's a great movie. Yeah, those are good.
Awesome.
I should actually get my buddy Steven on, because that's one of his Your Next is one of his favorite movies ever.
That's awesome.
He loves that movie so much. But that's a good one.
Very cool. Well, awesome.
All right, guys.
Yeah, this is good. Thanks again. We'll catch you guys next time.
All right. We'll see you next time. See ya.
PCs.
Thanks so much for listening to the podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to jump over to our website, moviesthatmakeyoupodcast.com, to see all of our links. Follow us on Instagram so you never miss an episode, a live stream, or an interview. And until next time, keep watching movies.